So thank you and welcome to Parliament. And we want to take this opportunity to wish you a very good year 2024. Just before I start, let me introduce myself. I'm John Chikati, the Secretary General of the Ford Kenya Party. And here we have Mheshimiwa Wakoli, the Senator for Bungoma County, Mheshimiwa Makali from Kantui, and Mheshimiwa Martin Investor Pepela from Webuye East. Other members of Parliament from Ford Kenya are not with us today because of the various activities. Now, around the 20th of November, the Minister for National Treasury assured Parliament that within 20 days, that by 20th of December, there will be disbursements of CDF to the constituencies. Now, from 20th of December up to now is around 20 days, and there is no single disbursement to constituencies. Secondly, since the financial year started in July 1st, 2023, up to now, there is no single disbursement of CDF funds to the constituencies. On 8th of this month, the students opened, the schools opened, and the students have reported back to school. Already, some heads of schools have sent home students because of lack of fees, because heads of schools cannot sustain those students in schools without money. And therefore, the CS for National Treasury has been a big disappointment, because the same thing he has done this year is the same thing he did during the last financial year. Now, how are the schools going to run? There is no communication between the CS and Parliament. There is no communication between CS and the schools on what is happening. Already more than 80% of our students rely on bursaries for their education. When you look at last year's poor performance in the national examination, it is due to inconsistency in the distribution of bursary funds arising from delays in disbursement of CDF funds. And you can see that this year it is even worse, because the students have opened without any single funds being disbursed to the schools. Secondly, how are we going to implement the JSS infrastructure development without funds? Already in some schools, students have moved from one grade to the other, and yet we don't have any funds in the JSS as far as the infrastructure development is concerned. The other thing that we are talking about is, why should we fund students in terms of bursaries at the tail end of the term? We are waiting until the end of the term is when we can disperse bursaries. At that time, the students will have delayed and they will have missed classes. And therefore, we have received a lot of disappointment from the CS National Treasury. What we know and we hear from him is too much English and economics jargon, rather than practical, actionable steps towards delivery of service. We are so disappointed. He owes us an apology, and he owes the students an apology and Kenyans an apology as far as inconsistency in disbursement of funds are concerned. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is John Makali. I am the Member of Parliament for Kandui constituency. And it is a good opportunity to take stock of what has happened the whole of last year as we start off 2024. Kandui constituency, you know, is the domicile, is the bedrock, is the home of Nzoia Sugar Company. And 95% of our voters rely on sugarcane farming. We appreciate the government's efforts in restructuring up Nzoia and putting up reforms in the sugar sector. We appreciate the writing off of the dates. We appreciate also the government's efforts of trying to restart up the nuclear estate. We also appreciate Parliament for trying to push the sugar bill to go through so they can have reforms in the sugar sector. But we can do all those things. But if we do not honor the promise to pay farmers I remember His Excellency the President, when he was giving the State of the Nation address on the floor, he said farmers will be paid their their arrears before Christmas. In fact, he promised them a Christmas gift. We ran with that message to our farmers. The farmers waited until Christmas time. There were no payments. We told them we are going to get paid after Christmas. No payments. We promised them that we are going to at least push so that we ensure they get paid before schools open. Right now, up to now, no farmers' arrears have been released. And it is very, very, very painful because as leaders, we ran with the President's message. It was on the floor of the House. We ran with it to our constituents. We ran with it and we promised them. It was very, very surprising that when we visited the Treasury, they said the processes are still underway. It does not appear to be one of the priorities. It was very, very painful for me when I went to see the PA's aggregate. Say, oh, what was it? What was it? It was very, very painful. We want to state that they must be able to pay cane farmers because children are at home. We are being visited. We are receiving calls left, right, center because of non-payment of farmers. And yet, we sat up to midnight to ensure monies were put in the supplementary budget to ensure payment of farmers' arrears. We have kept on telling farmers, hold on, don't demonstrate, until farmers don't believe us anymore. If the payments for farmers are not going to be made forthcoming before the end of this week, we are going to let the farmers do what they want to because our patience has little run. We are being portrayed as, liars. We are being cajoled on social media, in FM stations as people who are perpetuating a lie. As key players in this particular government, honestly, the government needs to listen to us as leaders so that we don't appear to be lying to our farmers. Several other promises were made development-wise because we are key players in this Kenya Kwanza Alliance. I take the example, of course, of Sangalo Institute. The president was there and he promised we are going to do dormitories, we are going to do optic network, we are going to work on the roads. Up to now, nothing has literally happened until everybody else thinks that we are just perpetuating a lie. We want to call upon those people who have been given the mandate, the ministers. Don't let down the president, the cabinet secretaries, the permanent secretaries. You are letting us down and letting down our whole government, which we fought so hard to bring into place. Please do your bit. It is very painful that Parliament, which hosts the purse, which distributes money to all the arms of government, we have to keep kneeling to beg. Governors there distributing bursaries, members of Parliament are here crying all, and they are the ones who hold the purse. We want to tell people, please, 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 the cabinet secretary, the permanent secretaries, please, this is not an Azimio or a Kenya Kwanza affair. We must be able to ensure the promises which we made to our people are honored. Otherwise, we're going to be rendered irrelevant. And that is not something we are prepared to go down with. Correct. We better die standing than, live on our knees.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. For now 1 year, as people of Bungoma, we don't expect Waziri Murkomen to have addressed many of our challenges in terms of road infrastructure. But we expected that the same effort and energy that Waziri Murkomen is putting up in addressing the stall projects and initiating new road projects in other regions is the same energy he will put in Bungoma County. When we were campaigning, we promised people of Bungoma that we will be able in 1 year complete all the stall projects. Misihu Brigadier, Dorofu Kandui, Musikoma going to Mungatsi, and many other projects. Up to now, 1 year down the line, no single stall project has been completed, or even a process of starting that road has been initiated. We've had several meetings with Waziri Murkomen, but 1 year down the line, nothing has been done. The other day, there was distribution of carer funds. Bungoma County only got 20 million. Out of the so many billions that went to other regions, we want to tell Waziri Murkomen, Bungoma County is the county that tilted the scale, and now President William Ruto is the president. The same respect that you gave this county on the campaign trail and during the announcement of the victory, we want to see that replicated in terms of service delivery, in terms of resource distribution. Secondly, we want to affirm our support to the president. But we want to say the people who send us here people who send us in parliament also expect nothing less than development. We want to see all the stalled projects being allocated money the way we are seeing in Murang'a, the same we are seeing in Kiambu, and many other regions. We want to see the executive orders, the presidential orders and directives being honored. My brother talked about Sangalo. When the president was in Bungoma, he directed that Magemo TTI be advertised and be allocated money. Up to now, nothing has been done. Is it that ministers are now watering down the presidency or what? That's why I want to ask His Excellency, we respect you and we will support you, but allow us to deal with these rogue ministers, with these ministers who are not taking your directive, who are incompetent and not really doing what is supposed to be done to ensure that this government delivers on its agenda. Thank you.
Asante sana wanahabari kwa nafasi hii. Kwanza ni kuwashukuru na kuwatakia mwaka mpya wenye mafanikio pasipo na bugdha yote. Sisi kama wajumbe wa kaunti ya Bungoma, kwa mtiririko mmoja tungependa kusema kwamba dawa ya deni ni kulipa. Juzi tumeona arifa kutoka Wizara ya Kilimo, wakulima wa kahawa wanaenda kupata kile tunaita cherry fund. Vile vile tumeona wakulima wa majani chai wakipata kipato chao baada ya kuchuma juani. Kile tunadai kama wakulima wa miwa, hususan viongozi wa kaunti ya Bungoma, ni kwamba fedha za wakulima wa Nzoia zilipwe. Vile vile fedha za kulipa wafanyikazi wa Nzoia zilipwe, kwa sababu wakulima kote nchini hawezi kuwa wanajivunia jasho lao, na huku Bungoma tunasaga meno na kupiga makofi kwamba tuko serikali. Tunasema kwa sauti moja kwamba maendeleo yawe ya usawa katika maeneo yote ya humu nchini. Na sisi tumekubaliana kwamba tutakaporejea katika bunge, mawaziri hawa tutaweka kwenye mizani, wahakikishe kwamba matamshi na maelekezo ya Mheshimiwa Rais yanatekelezwa kwa haraka na wepesi, ili wakazi wa Bungoma wafurahie kwamba walipiga kura. Jambo la pili ambalo tungependa kusema, kumekuwa na tashwishi kuhusiana na miradi ya barabara jinsi wamesema. Tumeona katika vyombo vya habari Waziri Murkomen akizindua barabara, fedha nyingi katika miradi ya maji. Tunataka kuwaona kule Bungoma wakizindua miradi kama hii. Murkomen hajazuru mkoa wa Magharibi tangu tupite kura kama Kenya Kwanza. Tumemwona pembe zote, wamekuwa wanafanya mazoezi na kukimbia mbio za nyika pembe mbalimbali za nchi ya Kenya. Bungoma iwaje hawaji kulipa madeni ya kisiasa ambayo kwayo tulitoa jasho na kusaga meno. Kile tunasema na kuhakikishia watu wa Bungoma kwamba tutatembea na wao sako kwa bako kuhakikisha kwamba yale yote rais ametamka na yale yote yaliyo katika bajeti ya nchi ya Kenya yanatekelezwa kikamilifu. Juzi tumeona vyombo vya habari, viongozi wakizuru shule zao, zimewekwa baraste. Ni shule kama zinazotembelewa na watalii. Na huku kwetu tunakotoka, shule za matope, hata uwezi tamani kupiga picha. Ni yapi tunaeleza wa Kenya? Kwamba kuna Kenya ya matajiri na Kenya ya maskini. Tunaomba waziri wa elimu na mawaziri wote tupewe haki sawa, kwa sababu kura haibagui. Kura ya mlemavu, kura ya profesa, kura ya mlevi, kura ya pasta, yote ni kura, na tunaomba kwamba tupewe haki yetu. La mwisho ni kuhakikishia Mheshimiwa Rais kwamba tunamuunga mkono kama amiri jeshi na kiongozi wa nchi ya Kenya, lakini majemedari wake, mawaziri ambao lazima wafuate mawaidha yake, sisi tutaweka na tutawaandama watende jinsi tulivyokubaliana, ili Wakenya kokote waliko wajue ushuru wanaotozwa ambao wanalipa kwa kulia, waone matunda ya ushuru wao. Wakenya wote tunatakia kila laheri, na wajue kwamba sisi kama chama cha Ford Kenya na wabunge wa chama cha Ford Kenya tutatembea na wao, tutawatetea, tutawalilia kuhakikisha kwamba iwapo tutafika 2027 watajua kwamba tunasikiza, tunaelewa na tutafanya jinsi wanavyotaka. Asante sana na Mungu awalinde.
Mo Radio 88.2 FM. We